The Reform of the Madrassa System in Pakistan by Holly Olson, an intern at the Pakistani Research Group. What are madrassas? Madrassas are religious schools with the goal to provide an education to those children who do not have the funds or means to get into private schools, or whose parents feel that public education is not doing its part to teach their children. Due to the lack of funds, maintenance, and sufficient teachers in the public school system, madrassas can be a great alternative. Not only do they teach the children, but they also provide housing, food, and sometimes clothing. The main teachings in the madrassas are Islamic religious teachings. The students spend much of their days memorizing verses in the Quran. Learning Islamic religious teachings is not bad in itself. What can be bad is that madrassas are not systematically run by the government. This lack of control can allow extremist and militant thoughts to enter into the teachings. Because they are not run by the government, there are some donors who will only donate money as long as the madrassas teach the way the donors want them to, giving the donors the opportunity to control and direct the children in what they do. When students are taught something and told to repeat it over and over out loud and to memorize it, they often begin to believe and live those teachings. Many graduates from rural madrassas do not have an actual education, leaving those impressionable graduates prey to those who hold extremist views and hatred of all people who do not believe as they do. Some of the families who send their children off to madrassas to learn and grow never see them again, or not for years. When and if they do see them again, the children have usually lost their innocence and become hardened. Yes, this is not good, but why do we in America care about the need for the reform in madrassas in Pakistan? We care because we believe that those terrorists that attacked our country on September 11, 2001, were taught their hatred and wished to destroy America in these Pakistani rural madrassas. Robert Looney, in his paper Reforming Pakistan's Educational System, The Challenge of the Madrassas, said that in the town of Akoma, Khattab, Pakistan, that the leaders of many of the madrassas read like the who's who of the Taliban regime. For the safety and protection of not only our nation, but also of those other nations that have been attacked and terrorized, the Pakistani government, along with Western countries, are looking for ways to enforce change in the madrassa system. Many foreign leaders have found and brought to the attention of the Pakistani government that if the students had a better, stronger, and more secular education, they do better in society and are able to help Pakistan grow as well. A study conducted by M.S. Butt in the Pakistan Journal of Applied Education said that if a farmer got 5 or more years of schooling, it leads to increased farm and labor productivity, reduced use of farm labor, and increased use of yield-augmenting inputs like fertilizer. So there are studies that show that the better educated will help the Pakistani people out in their everyday lives. These studies also show that the better educated help their government come together to plan Pakistan's future. You might be wondering, why haven't the madrassa system been reformed yet? There have been some attempts, however they have not worked. Each reform has been built on the need to know how and what is being taught in the madrassas. I feel that if the Pakistan government works with the leaders of tribal madrassas as well as the private and public schools, they should be able to begin the madrassa reform, as the leaders of the madrassas will not feel singled out as being bad or needing to change. Reform has started to happen as leaders of some madrassas want to teach their students more about the world outside of Pakistan. Maulana Abdul Malik said in an article entitled Reforming Madrassas Education System in Pakistan post 9/11, there is need for improvement in madrassas. Madrassas need to teach modern subjects at all levels, like they teach the religious subjects. Madrassa students must be kept aware of the current development and languages. They would be given information about the Muslim world, their geography, natural resources, location, etc. Modern knowledge must be used for this purpose. We need to develop good representatives of the Muslim Ummah who can effectively raise their voice on important issues. The government of Pakistan has had all this information for a while. What can be done by the government to ensure uniform and effective education is taught throughout the madrasa system? There have been many suggestions that the government needs to implement secular teaching while reassuring the leaders of the madrasas that the Islamic religious teachings will still be taught as a major part of the curriculum. Having jobs available to those who graduate will also help build up Pakistan. The government will screen donors to make sure that the madrasas are not given money to change their teachings, and these are just a few of many possible ways to reform. While there is much room for improvement, they are working and implementing ideas to make Pakistani students' lives safer and helping them become more productive. I believe that they will get there if they work together towards reform. Thank you for listening.